Deep in the heart of France, there is a sanctuary where stone is no longer just matter, but a living prayer sculpted into a magnificent physical form. This space was designed to bridge the gap between heaven and earth, but to understand its birth, we must return to a tragic night in June 1194. These stone faces have looked down upon millions of souls for 8 centuries, each visitor carrying their own burdens, silent prayers, and hidden hopes for mercy. The light that fills this cathedral has remained unchanged for hundreds of years, yet it only exists because of a miracle that the entire city believed. From a distance, the cathedral resembles a massive stone ship sailing across a sea of green and gold, towering far above the tiny surrounding town of Chartres. Chartres was not built by kings or famous architects alone, but by the hands of ordinary farmers, skilled craftsmen, and humble merchants driven by a singular vision. After losing everything to a devastating fire, these people chose to dedicate their entire lives to creating something extraordinary out of the ashes of their despair. This is the story of the most incredible achievement that human faith can create, a monument that stands as a testament to the power of collective hope. In this sacred silence, the boundaries of time seem to dissolve, inviting us to witness the fire, the miracle, and the engineering that changed history forever. On the night of June 10, 1194, the horizon glowed with a terrifying orange light as the greatest fire in Chartres' history began its destruction. The fire started in the heart of the old cathedral and quickly spread, consuming the 300-year-old structure and turning the city's pride into a funeral pyre. As the roof collapsed, the townspeople stood paralyzed by grief, fearing that their most precious holy relic, the Sancta Camicia, had been lost to the flames. The Sancta Camicia, the sacred tunic believed to have been worn by the Virgin Mary, was the very reason pilgrims traveled from across Europe to this site. 2 days later, when the heat finally subsided and the smoke began to clear, a group of monks emerged from the darkness of the cathedral's deep crypt. To the astonishment of the survivors, the sacred tunic was completely untouched by the fire, protected by the heavy stone vaults of the underground sanctuary below. The word miracle echoed through the ruins as the crowd erupted in joy, believing that Mary herself had saved her home and called for its reconstruction. What followed was unprecedented in history. Lords, merchants, and peasants joined together to drag massive stones from distant quarries without being ordered by any king. The new cathedral rose with incredible speed, completed in just 26 years, fueled by a collective religious passion that no external authority could ever command. This was not a project of vanity, but a desperate act of devotion from a community that believed they were building a literal palace for the divine. To keep the walls from collapsing under the weight of the massive roof, the builders used revolutionary stone arms known as flying buttresses to distribute the load. These structures acted as external skeletons, pushing back against the internal pressure of the vaults and allowing the walls to be filled with massive glass windows. The cathedral's 2 towers are famously different, one built in the simple Romanesque style, and the other completed centuries later in the intricate flamboyant Gothic style. This asymmetry tells the story of time itself, showing how architectural tastes and engineering capabilities evolved through the 300 years it took to finish them. The master builders had no computers or modern math, relying instead on geometry, intuition, and secret knowledge passed down through generations of the stonemasons' guilds. Every stone in this building was carved by hand, and many bear the unique marks of the men who labored in the dust and heat for decades. The height of the nave was a daring challenge to gravity, reaching levels that made visitors feel small and insignificant in the face of God's grandeur. Even today, modern engineers are puzzled by the precision of these medieval calculations, wondering how such a massive structure has remained stable for 8 centuries. But the true magic of Chartres isn't found in the strength of its stone, but in the light that passes through its legendary stained glass windows. The cathedral houses the world's most complete collection of medieval stained glass, featuring a unique shade of blue that has never been perfectly replicated since. This specific cobalt blue, known as Bleu de Chartres, was created using a secret chemical formula involving metal oxides that was lost to history centuries ago. Scientists have analyzed the glass with lasers and chemical tests, yet the exact temperature and firing conditions used by the medieval masters remain a mystery. As the sun moves across the sky, the interior of the cathedral transforms into a living kaleidoscope, changing its mood and color every single hour. These windows do not just tell stories of saints, they depict the daily lives of the bakers, tanners, and blacksmiths who paid for their construction. The north rose window is a masterpiece of light and geometry, designed to wash the cathedral in a cold, celestial glow during the morning hours. To a medieval peasant who lived in a world of dark huts and gray stone, entering this sea of color must have felt like stepping into heaven. Every pane of glass was a page in a massive Bible for the illiterate, teaching the mysteries of faith through the medium of pure, radiant light. Over 2,000 square meters of glass surround the space, creating a protective envelope of light that filters out the harshness of the outside world. The survival of this glass through the French Revolution and 2 world wars is a miracle in itself, often saved by the quick action of locals. It is said that the light in Chartres is not something you see, but something you feel, a physical presence that touches the very soul. But while the windows draw the eyes upward toward the divine, the floor contains a path that leads the pilgrim into the center of themselves. The Chartres labyrinth is one of the few surviving medieval examples in the world, a 12-meter wide circle designed for a slow but meditative journey. Unlike a maze, there are no dead ends or wrong turns here. There is only one winding path that eventually leads to the sacred center. Millions of pilgrims have walked this path over 800 years, using the physical journey as a metaphor for their own spiritual search for meaning. Walking the labyrinth requires patience and trust. You often move away from the center just as you think you are about to reach it. The total length of the path is 262 meters, representing a symbolic pilgrimage to the Holy City for those who couldn't travel. At the center, the pilgrim finds a moment of stillness, a symbolic union with the divine after the long and winding trials of the earthly path. The geometry of the labyrinth is perfectly aligned with the architecture of the building, reflecting a belief in a universe governed by sacred mathematical order. As this was the medieval way of inner prayer, an embodied experience that required the whole person, mind, body, and spirit to participate in the ritual. In this space, time slows down, allowing the noise of the outside world to fade away into the steady rhythm of one foot in front of another. Though each person walks alone, they are part of a timeless tradition of seekers who have found solace in this ancient stone geometry. To exit the labyrinth is to return to the world changed, carrying the stillness of the center back into the chaos of everyday life. The journey through the labyrinth eventually leads the eye toward the heart of the cathedral, where the story of Chartres truly began. Inside this hallowed space lies the Sancta Camisia, the sacred tunic of the Virgin Mary, the relic that defined the destiny of this entire city. A simple piece of silk, over 2,000 years old, became the spiritual magnet that drew kings and peasants alike to this remote corner of France. But Chartres was once one of the 3 most important pilgrimage sites in Europe, a place of healing and miracles for those who had lost all hope. Today, that tradition continues, as thousands still walk the roads of France to reach these stone walls, seeking the same sense of peace as their ancestors. Each candle represents a story, a prayer for a loved one, or a thank you for a life saved, adding to the spiritual weight of the air. The entire architecture of the choir was designed to frame the relic, creating a stage where the sacred and the material world could meet. The smell of beeswax and ancient stone mixes with the faint scent of incense, creating a sensory experience that has remained unchanged for centuries. In this moment, the cathedral is not a museum or a tourist attraction, but a living house of worship that continues to fulfill its original purpose. The power of Chartres lies in its ability to inspire faith even in those who do not believe, through the sheer scale of its human devotion. As we step back from the altar and move toward the light of the modern world, the true lesson of Chartres begins to reveal itself to us. This cathedral is a monument to the human hand, the thousands of anonymous hands that shaped every curve, every wing, and every holy face. The light that dances on these stones today is the same light that gave hope to the builders in 1194 as they stood in the ruins. Chartres belongs to no single person or era. It is a shared heritage of humanity, a testament to what we can achieve when we work together. The builders of this place knew they would never see it finished. Yet, they worked with a precision that assumed their labor would last forever. They planted seeds of stone, trusting that future generations would water them with their own faith and keep the vision alive for 800 years. It is a reminder that even when our world is consumed by fire and loss, we have the power to build something even more beautiful from the ashes. The silence of the night in Chartres is not empty. It is full of the echoes of a million prayers and the quiet breath of history. The wonder remains as fresh today as it was in the 13th century, proving that beauty is a universal language that never grows old or irrelevant. Chartres is a ripple in time, an act of courage that continues to inspire anyone who seeks to touch something greater than themselves. It is the song of a people who refused to give up, who turned their grief into a masterpiece that has outlasted empires and kings. As we leave this ship of stone, we carry with us the secret of the blue glass and the rhythm of the labyrinth within our hearts. Chartres stands as a permanent witness to the light, a beacon of hope that will continue to shine as long as humans dare to dream. Because in the end, we don't just visit Chartres, we allow Chartres to become a part of our own journey into the light.